Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So, Roxy Creations, we have our new prompt. It is words. Now, I'm up at Burrum and I don't have a lot of supplies with me, but I did pack my stamps and inks that I was using with all my journal making. So I was like, oh, words, that I can handle. Other than, creating it with a pen and embroidering, I thought I might have a try of stamping and then stitching the letters. So that's the plan. So I've got out a couple different options that we can use. I've got these letters. Now, I think it was Sarah mentioned that these are available online. I think I got mine from Etsy or no, they were eBay. So who knows where they've actually come from, whether it was a craft store or a private seller, I'm just not sure. But these I got when I was doing the Anne Brooks challenge. And each tag I did, I was able to arrange them and write a word that was the stitch that we were learning, and they were really, really good. But these are tiny, so I don't think they're going to suit Honey Bear's dress. Now, put them aside. Then I found these in my box of tricks that I put together from the craft room and is now sitting in the cupboard beside me. I don't think I'd use these because, once again, they're very small. But these, I think, might have been from Amazon. And the rubber band goes around the letters to hold them, in place so that you can stamp evenly. It is still a little bit treacherous. It's not the easiest thing to do. So I'm going to put these away because they're not really what I want to do. Then I found these. Now, these are some of my favourites. I got them from Dark Room Door. Now, this is an Australian company, but they got their gear everywhere. And I've got sentiment stamps. One is very creative and the other one is inspirational. And out of all of the stamps I've been buying for, a couple of years when I was doing journaling, these are the ones I just keep going back to because they're just great sentences, words. They're abstract text. They're really, really good. So I thought if Honey Bear was going to have some words on her little dress, I think I would find something here. And these are some that I had stamped when I was doing journal making. So I'll be doing a similar thing. It'll be a case of stamping it onto some calico or homespun, and I've got a piece here. And then stitching with a very fine thread. I'll probably use 1 strand or 2 strands of embroidery cotton and just stitch them in. And then I'll have these little snippets that I can use on Honey Bear's dress, or I'll just have some embroidered little snippets. So I thought, well, even though Honey Bear's dress and Honey Bear is not with me, I've got opportunities here just to have them in a container ready for other projects. So that's what I'm going to do. Prep some little embroidered words once I've stamped them onto the fabric, and then I can embroider them. So I've got 2 inks with me, luckily. I've got the Timber Brown and I've got a black. So hopefully they're still moist, and I've got an acrylic block that these little guys attach to that allow you to stamp. And I went rummaging and I found a glue book that I was using when I was journal making. So I think we're ready to roll. You use a book under your fabric because it gives you a little bit of absorbency. If you do it straight onto a bench, it just doesn't seem to work as well. So that's my hot tip for the day. Make sure you stamp onto a book. And here comes Fudgy. Good morning, Fudgy. He's just been sitting outside in the sun. So he's just wandering back in, and now he'll want to jump up on the desk. And what could possibly go wrong with a cat and paws? Fudgy. Puss, puss. I'm liking the look of this one here. Imagine the possibilities. Let's find that stamp. That'd be a good one to embroider for Honey Bear, because I'm sure she's constantly imagining the possibilities. That'd be there. Let's have a look at that. So this one's never been used, so I'll just get rid of this white backing, and that allows that then to attach to that. Fudgy. It's okay. Honey Bear is blues and browns. I might stamp it in brown and then I'll stitch it in brown if we have ink. Yeah, pussy. And I'm going to put this in a hoop, so I might keep it fairly centered. Give it a moment just for the ink to seep into the fibres of the fabric. Upside down, but that's all right. Done. So that's that one. What else can we put? Dream big. That sounds like a honey bear, doesn't it? Dream big. There are no limits. Strives to succeed. Make it happen. Dare to dream. I don't mind that one either. Fudgy. Push, push. You're interfering with my stamping, Fudgy. He's going to jump up on my sewing table and cause trouble over there. Puss, puss. Sorry, guys. We've got a pussycat that's dream big. That's definitely a honey bear. I've used that one a lot. I'll probably do 4 a honey bear's dress, and if this goes really well, I'll probably collage them onto some fabric to make like a little snippet that then can be stitched. I just don't know if I've got, well, I don't have any of Honey Bear's fabrics with me. They're still all in Brisbane. So, dream big. Now that's upside down the other way. Goodness me. Oh, here comes a cat. Oh my goodness, fudge. This is just shambles. You're going to sit there. Don't put your tail in the ink. Oh, fudgimus. What could possibly go wrong? Curiosity is it's contagious. Curiosity is contagious. That would be a bit of a bear thing. What else? Let's do this one. I'm sort of looking at the font a little bit too. You've got to imagine threads being stitched into it, so a bit more. That looks good. So once they're stitched, I'll probably just tear them out, like rip and snip and rip, so they're all rough looking. One more, and then yeah, like I said, find some snippets and make your dreams happen. That's tiny. That'd be all right, guys. At least it's straight lines for stitching. That little one down the bottom there. Let's have a look at that one. Make your dreams happen. Don't think I've used it before. But yeah, these are really good little stamps. I should have checked to see they're still available. I'd say they would be. This company has just gone from strength to strength. A good Aussie company. They're always at all of our fairs. You know, the dreams, no. They're always at all the craft fairs. Where is it? There it is in there. So So I'd need to cut that out. I don't have a Stanley knife with me to slice between those. And I wouldn't dare do it with scissors because, yeah, no, we'll skip that one. It is very small too. There are no limits, strive to succeed. One of a kind. Oh, is that honey bear or what? One of a kind. It's part of a thing as well. I wonder if these scissors would do it. At least it's not as tiny as... Yes, it's working. Excellent. So they come as a big piece and you separate them. You don't have to, fudgy. Now he's going to want to hop down. Sorry guys, I'm just going to grab the pussycat, pop him safely down so he doesn't jar his little body. He's an old boy, so we can't have him jumping onto tiles. So what did I do with the... What did I do with it? One of a kind. Fudgy's one of a kind. Aren't you, Fudge? He's just glared at me. He's walked back to his little creche area. He's where his breakfast bowl is, his water in his bed, and that's where he reclines for the day. And he's just glared at me as he heard his name. I have to say, what do you want? You know what would be really cool is I have some beads with me. I just glanced across my table. And I have some beads, so I could probably maybe find some blue fabric, dark blue, and do a little bit of beading around them. Like, I want to create a cluster that's ready just to stitch on her little dress. So there you go. There's our little honey bear words. They're a good size too for her dress. So I'm happy with that. Here's my little container. All right, mission accomplished. Now we need a hoop. We don't need any of that. Okay, a little hoop. Just reaching over to grab a hoop. I think I've got a rectangular one here too in a box. Most of them are still in Brisbane. Upside down, doesn't matter. Oh, perfect. That's all right. This will work. So I'll put this down out of my way down the bottom here. Good. I've got a nice little project that I can work on while I'm up here. So we need needle and thread. I need a chocolate brown. No, we're going to have to go thinner. Is there a brown in there that we could use to recycle? This is from the projects that I'm doing, the Nikki Franklin projects. I don't mind that colour actually, the charcoal-y tone. Might use that. That's good. We're recycling. See the old Orts jar that I thought I'd never ever get, and I finally got one, has already paid off. Thanks to Nikki Franklin's generosity when she makes her kits. You get so much extra thread left. And that instantly created a little Orts jar for me. So I guess the question now is it one thread or two? I don't think it's 3. Maybe it is. Maybe each one will be different. Let's have a look. No, I'll go to 2. I just have a feeling, and I'd rather it be finer. I guess the good thing is I'm matching to the ink. So therefore, if I am a little bit out of alignment with my placement of my needle, it won't be as obvious. Okay, so I might do a split back stitch. I need a finer needle. This is a bit of a crowbar and it's going to make big holes in that fabric. restarted. Yeah, definitely need a finer needle. I wonder if Reginald's with me. He would be good, annoyingly good. That's not Reg, but Reg must have stayed in Brisbane. Oh well, it's probably a good thing. Reg is dangerous. He's so thin. I have a feeling I've got a needle box here too from out of my cupboard that was thrown into a box as I was packing, that might have some packs of needles in it. You know, when you buy a pack of needles and there's some left over, well, mine will go in the one spot. So if I ever need more, that's my spot. And I think that container is with me, so I might. By doing a split back stitch where you insert your needle into the prior stitch, it then hides the hole that a needle makes. When you just do a running stitch, you can get the little hole peeking through. And a split back stitch just hides nicely. The penetrating needle hole. Yeah, that's good. So that's 2 strands. That'll work. Just beaut. And because I've matched it pretty much to the ink, looks great. 2 stitches, 2 threads is sitting nicely on the letters, so it doesn't look bulky. Beaut, that's going to work. I was really unsure what this prompt would be, and with my limited supplies, I thought I might be back in Brisbane. What's today? Thursday. Yeah, our plan was to go back to Brisbane on Wednesday, and we'd probably be there for a week. But it so happens the trades ran over, and my husband had to go back anyway for some work appointments. So we decided he'd go by himself. I'd stay here with Fudge, and I could carry on letting tradesmen in and, you know, just making sure that someone was around. And he will be back tomorrow, and then we're planning to return back to Brisbane on the Tuesday next week, all going to plan. And I'd say we'll be in Brisbane for a week or so, because the trades will literally slow down a little now, because we're really waiting for a bricklayer. And he has just said somewhere between now and Christmas. And there's nothing inside that needs attention. Oh, yes, there is. My ovens. My oven tower, the oven part, above it is a microwave, convection microwave. The main oven is tripping the power. So my husband called, well, I called the manufacturer. They said talk to your builder, because the electrician may have wired them incorrectly. So until we get that eliminated, they're not interested in coming out. So we're waiting on the builder to let us know when the Sparky can come back and have a look at my oven tower, because it's really odd. It heats up, and let's say you want it at 200 degrees. It'll heat up to about 160 degrees and then trip the power. You put the power back on, the oven comes on, carries on heating up, and then it trips again 10 minutes later. So you don't quite get heated up. And then when you put it back on, it will cook a whole meal for an hour, and it's not a problem. It's really odd. I think it's the oven, to be honest. I think if it was wired wrong, you wouldn't be able to restart it. It'd constantly trip. But I'm no expert. So hopefully the Sparky will come in the time that we're sitting here, and then the manufacturer will come in the time I'm sitting here, and I can head back to Brisbane then for a week or so, which will be good because I do miss my Pepper and Bandit. So Fudgy and I'll pack up our bags, head back to Brisbane. But who knows? We're sort of just made ourselves free-flowing so we can be where we need to be when we need to be. So this week it was Gaz back to Brisbane by himself. And then I stay here. So it's been Fudgy and I. It's been good. I've watched movies that I want to watch. I was saying to someone, I think it was Susanna and Tia actually, we had a bit of a FaceTime chat, and I said, oh, it's just so odd being by yourself when you've had your husband with you all the time, because we work together, so we live together, work together, we're around each other all the time. So when someone dodges off to do something, it's like so exciting for the first few days that, you know, got the whole house to myself. What will I do? So many jobs, so many chores. And the TV, I can watch whatever movie I want. So, and then you sort of get to day 3, and to be honest, Fudge is just not answering back. I ask him things and he's just not answering back. So Fudgy's becoming a bit boring. He just wants to sleep all day anyway. So, yeah, I'm sort of ready for the husband to return. It's a bit, you just get used to that, don't you? So, but I have watched some great movies. I watched, well, they're not movies. I like documentaries. I watched the story of Notre Dame when it burnt down. That was, oh gosh. They had a lot of actual footage, and then they recreated some of the events that took place and the struggle to put that fire out. Oh my goodness. And the bit that surprised me the most is the roof at some point had been repaired in its lifetime with little pieces of lead, like squares of lead, like shingles of lead. And when the fire really got going, because they just couldn't, A, get the trucks in there due to the traffic in Paris, B, like it's in the roof, and the access to get up into the roof are these tiny one-way winding staircases, and the poor fire folk, they had hoses on their back, they had oxygen tanks on their back, they had their masks, they had all the gear, and they're going up these spiral staircases, story after story, to get to the roof, and doors were locked with old keys. Oh my goodness. So it was a bit of a shocker. And then in the end, they did manage to get a hose into a few key locations, which sort of saved the front of the chapel or the cathedral. It's not a chapel, she's a cathedral. And the bit that stunned me back to the lead is once the heat got going, the lead started melting, and oh my goodness, there was oozing lead coming down from the roof onto the firemen like lava. So as they rolled out their hoses, let's say that's a fire hose, travelling through the whole building, blotches of lead were landing on the hoses, instantly puncturing them, melting them. So the water was just not happening. Oh, terrible. It was so sad. I'm getting emotional thinking about it, because I had a little cry at the end of it. It was really emotional. And I luckily had seen it years ago with hubby when we went to Paris for a week. And when I went back with the textile tour, and Susanna flew in a day or two after Marianne and I and Chelsea, and we said we'd meet you at the hotel, because that also gave us an opportunity to suss out where the girls were all staying, because we weren't staying at the hotel area. We were out in the suburbs a bit to keep the costs down, and we had an apartment. So each day we had to train it across to where all the group was staying, and Susanna was in amongst where the group was. So we said to Susanna, when you fly in, we'll practice our trip across, work out trains and times, and we'll say hello. It was our first time of actually meeting up with Susanna, and she was pretty tired, but we decided we'd go for a walk so that she would sleep well that night. So from there, we set off for the afternoon and we walked down to the Notre Dame and had a look at it. So the girls saw it with all the scaffolding around as they're rebuilding it after the fire. So I have seen it twice, once in its glory and once with its heart and soul burnt out of it. But it's coming along. Gosh, I hate to think how much that has cost. So it was a really good documentary. If you, I think it was on Prime or Paramount or Stan, I don't know. I was flicking around. Look, I had the remote control to myself, so I was flicking around everywhere. So yeah, you might have to Google it first, and that'll tell you which pay TV provider actually has it. But it was really good, but it was a bit emotional. You know what set me off is, I don't know if this happened. Maybe someone out there in YouTube world can confirm it or not, or this is a theatrical interpretation. The citizens watching the fire started singing. Now, you imagine the crowds that were building up the rivers and all over Paris, because it sort of can be seen in all directions. They were singing hymns. Oh my goodness, talk about tug the heart. So it's well worth a watch. Well worth a watch. What was the next one I did? The Wiggles, the story of the Wiggles. I got a lot of respect for the Wiggles. They're a lovely bunch of guys that started the band. They've since retired from it, but the juggernaut that it became continues, and there's new Wiggles that pop up from time to time in the group, and characters, and as they were saying, every 3 years their audience pretty much lost interest in them and moved on to new things. So every 3 years they could literally change out cast members, and the kids were oblivious because the Wiggles were discovered for the first time and by a new little person. So it was the story of the Wiggles, and a couple of the brothers were in a band, the Cockroaches, and they had a couple of hits, an Australian band, and I enjoyed their music when I was a teenager. And then they all went off to uni and started studying childcare. And they then started understanding, well, they were in a band, most of them were in a band, and then they ended up at uni to become childcare teachers, kindergarten, prep, and they really studied a lot of music and how to engage with children, help children to learn through music, dance. So they were writing songs, and then they started playing, they were busking. That's what they were doing, busking, and the crowd was so-so, but then the one day they played a song that was designed for children, and there were some kids in the crowd, and the kids just started grooving, and so did the parents, and they sort of looked at each other and thought, wow, that's popular. So they approached a company that does kids' parties, and the lady saw what they were doing and pretty much said, look, you're onto something here. You need to think a little bit bigger. So they started doing events that were, 500 people. And then over the years, that quickly became 3, 4, 5, 10,000 people. And then the videos and, the DVDs and all of that. And they were so popular. And my connection to the Wiggles, oh gosh, here we go. This is embarrassing. I was working as the state manager of Blockbuster Video back in the day. when we had Blockbuster Videos. And we had we were part of the group that could sell their videos, their VHS tapes when they came out. And as part of the deal, if you ordered their new video, whatever it was, it might have been Big Red Car or something, you got a chance to win a ticket to a concert with the Wiggles. And the concert was going to be in Brisbane at the entertainment centre. So we sold thousands of these Wiggles tapes, with everyone getting a chance to get a ticket. Or maybe they bought a ticket. I can't remember now. But anyway, the deal was into the convention centre we all went. I had to have a heap of staff available because we were going to walk out at the end of the show with balloons, and as the big doors of the convention centre opened up, the kids would be given some balloons and off they'd go. So I had about 20 staff there, and in we went. The Wiggles were in the green room. We met the Wiggles. They were so lovely. So I'm privileged to have met the boys. They were just lovely, lovely guys, really friendly. And there was a lot of kids with special needs from the local hospitals there as well. And just watching them with those kids, you could just tell they wanted careers in early childhood. So we're out the back, and they'd hired a balloon company to blow up these huge lumps of balloons with strings. So my 20 staff just had to all line up, grab a cluster of balloons, and then on the cue walk out, and the kids would literally pass us as they left the convention centre. So the concert went on. It was fantastic. The kids went nuts. They were all sitting cross-legged on the floor with their mums and dads and dancing, and what a sight. And those Wiggles, boy, do they earn their money. They wiggled and danced, and so the show was about 40 minutes. So picture let's make that the stadium. The Wiggles are on the stage, and all the kids are sitting on the carpet, thousands of them. And over to the side were the big doors, so they could open all of those doors easily, and the whole crowd could literally just wander out. So it's perfect to move a crowd. I was behind the stage with my 20 staff with a huge bunch of balloons each, and our plan was to march straight out in a row, stopping every few metres with the balloons. And as the mums and dads and kids passed us, they'd grab a balloon until we ran out. So anyway, we're in the back, and we're waiting, and we were told the song that would be the last one, and we hadn't heard it. And anyway, someone from the back, I don't know if they worked with the Wiggles or they worked with the concert venue, I don't know. But anyway, we got the go, and I thought, I haven't heard the song. I think it was Hot Potato, you know, hot potato. You'll know that if you've had kids and they've grown up on the Wiggles. And I thought, well, all right. So I spread the curtain and out I went with all my little Indians following with these balloons. The Wiggles were still playing, and it was too early. It was a song too soon. So what do you reckon happened? Oh my goodness. We come marching out with all these balloons, all these kids who'd been sitting there for 40 minutes, and they were sort of getting to the point where they're probably over it. They've danced their little hearts out. The Wiggles are on the stage banging out another tune, yet to do the final tune. We come marching out. All these kids literally just looked straight at those balloons, literally stood up, and the whole crowd moved towards us. So it was chaos. The doors weren't open. There were kids everywhere wanting a balloon. Then they were walking back to mum and sitting with their balloon, and more people wanted balloons, and there wasn't enough balloons. The doors weren't open. The Wiggles, oh my goodness, they immediately went straight into that final song. They did a short version of it. The doors opened and we got the crowd out. It was not dangerous in any way because, you know, it was plenty of space. I felt terrible, and I know I saw the signal. So anyway, long story short, we come back in, balloons are gone, the auditorium is empty, and I thought, oh gosh, am I in strife now? So we went up to say goodbye to the Wiggles, and they were so apologetic. It turned out it was one of their staff, and they had discussed not doing that song, but at the last minute they thought, no, we'll do it. The balloons can go out on Hot Potato. But then the crew didn't know that there was that extra song, where we all were looking for the extra song. So I said, I'm so sorry. And they were so sweet. They said, look, at the end of the day, a balloon is going to overrule a Wiggle and their song. So they were so gracious. They giggled with us, and they said, oh, look, don't worry, it's all good. They really had enough. You know, their attention span is, you know, limited. They'd been dancing for so long and singing, and the Wiggles thought it was quite amusing. They said they'd never seen a crowd of kids move so quick, and they couldn't work out what had happened because they're on the stage and suddenly there's kids moving to the side. Then they see me and my mates come out with the balloons. Anyway, so that's my Wiggle experience, and I can say firsthand they are the most generous gentlemen, and if you get a chance to watch their documentary, they're sitting each one of them down and talking about the whole experience of becoming the Wiggles and the health issues that happened, and yeah, there was all sorts of little things that happened. I don't like that knot. Do I like the knot? If I can get a little bit of air between the knot and the top of that eye, it won't look so bad. So that's what I've been doing, watching documentaries, watching period dramas of an evening, stitching, hanging out with Fudge. I feel like this could even be one thread. It's getting a bit chunky. We'll see. Yeah, I think it'll be all right. I could always come back. See this Y? It's that classic calligraphy where there's a thick section. See that there? And the little end of that Y is thick. But that is thin. Yeah. I'm going to stitch this with a second thread. So I'll do all the thick bits with 2 strands, and then I'll come back through and do the thin sections with 1 strand. So I'm actually going to unpick what I've done. I knew I was in strife when that knot went in for the dot, and it just looked too thick for the space. So I'm going to cut all that out. I know it's finicky, but it'll be worth it because this has got a bit of a, you know, a detail about it, this script. That one's similar to that. That one's a bit thick and thin too. Yeah, I'll have to do these the same way. So let me just unpick this quickly. Just got too chunky looking. That's the trick with stitching words. Another way to do letters, which works really well, is couching a thread, because that allows you to get curves. That one there could be couched because it's a little bit bigger. So you'd lay down your stitch, your thread, and then stitch over it. If you want to see an expert in couching, go to Jessie Chorley, her Instagram page. Oh my goodness, that girl does millions of little stitches over fibres to create her, images that she has pre-printed onto fabrics, and oh my goodness, the work. Actually, an Instagram post of hers popped up the other day, and she's got this massive piece of fabric up on the wall that she's hemming by hand, of course, and she's going to start a new project. So that will be fun to watch what she does. So the plan is to do all of the thick bits with 2 threads and all the thin bits with 1. I think that'll work a treat. How long have I been rabbiting on? 40 minutes. Oh my goodness. The other thing I've started doing is I'm putting up my Christmas tree. See what happens when you've got peace and quiet? I haven't had my big Christmas tree up for years. I usually just put up my great-grandmother's very old German Christmas tree, which pretty much is a stick, but it's a beauty because not only has it got history, it's got plenty of space and I can put my nativity scene at the base of it, so I absolutely love it. But I'm not sure where that's going to go yet. But in the lounge room, I've decided I'm going to put the Christmas tree in there. So I've built it. I've got the lights on. And I've started pulling out all the tubs with all the decorations. So I'm in the process of thinking about the colour scheme, and I've decided on silver, white and Tiffany blue. I have some of those bits and bobs with me, but I'm a little bit short because I've got a traditional colour scheme, you know, red gold, and I've also got a more modern silvers, blues and teals. So I decided I would do the silver, blue and teal this year. And the other thing I've got is some Limax villages that we used to sell Limax in our shops, but we don't anymore. We decided that they were just getting too crazy expensive for our, not only for us to buy, but for our customers. So we've gone away from the brand. Back in the day when we first started the business, they were like $49 to $99 was the price range, which was, you know, not too bad. Then as the years went on, to sell them to the customer, they became like $300. And it broke our hearts to see families go to the Limax section where we had them all on display, and you could just see the kids were in love with all these villages, and then the parents would see the price of $300 or $250, and you could just see the spirit of Christmas drain out of them, would be my comment. So we made a decision that we would not stock them anymore because, yeah, nothing had changed. The product was still the same. It's just the price went through the roof. So we don't sell it anymore, but I have a very, very small collection of a few that just caught my eye. And the one little lot, I think I got 4, they are all cooking themes. So it looks like meringues, cakes, gingerbread houses, all that type of theme. And I've pulled them out and I'm going to put them in the Christmas tree. So as you look into the tree, you will see the villages. We've got a few kids that are going to be around us this Christmas, and they're fairly young. So I said to my husband, I'm going to do something a bit special for the kids. We'll put the villages into the tree, and then they can sort of search the tree. So, but it's a big tree and I don't have much up here. So I spoke to Chelsea, our manager, and I said, Chelsea, you better send up with Gaz a few more bits and bobs, a few more flowers, a few more sprays of colour, you know, to help fill this tree. So she's made a small selection of some more elements. My ribbon too, I like to do ribbons on my Christmas tree. Hey Fudgy, and the ribbons have come out of the box from being used probably 6 years ago, really crushed, and they actually look like they've yellowed a little bit because the box must have got a bit of heat. So I told Chelsea to put in some rolls of ribbon so that I can make some new bows, and I might use those bows that are a bit crushed and damaged. I might use them on the outside of the house on Christmas Day, like put some on the door, or, you know, just won't matter if the sun finishes them off, so to speak. Hey, Pussy. He's had a drink of water and a little nap, and now he's back. He's probably saying, wrap it up, Mum. I'm sick of you talking and I can't sleep. So, yeah, I've started the process of decorating my Christmas tree. I think I talk about it and show you. Yeah, I do. I've got some little videos that I'll do and talk about it, and in the Monday video where I give you an update on the puppies and things like that. So there'll be some pictures come along. I haven't done much, mind you. The tree's standing there looking at me, but there's a lot of boxes around it too. I'll wait till Gaz arrives with some new goodies that Chelsea's put in a box for me. So that's what I've been up to. I hope you've all had a good week. I believe you'll be watching this on the Saturday. Like I said, it's Thursday for me. Fudgy, please. It's Thursday for me. Monday will be a puppy Christmas tree Barham update. That's all been put together yesterday, so that video is ready for you. It still won't be a Sunday video. It's just too much. So at the moment, I'm still not doing that, the 7th video for you. I don't think you guys mind too much. The girl's got to keep her sanity, otherwise she'll burn out and she'll be doing no videos. All right, I might chuff off and I'm going to finish stitching these, and then I'll just pop back for a minute or two at the end of this video and show you how they went. And yeah, have a great weekend. Like I said, there's a video Monday for you with a bit of an update on everything, and then back to our regular viewing schedule. All right, guys, look after yourselves, and no, look, I'll see you in a few minutes, a few seconds, I'll be back. Okay, bye everyone, I'm back. Everything is stitched. It was really fun. I took my time, and where the stamp went real thin, I made sure I stopped and changed back down to one single thread. Like the bee, for example. See that, the downward stroke of the bee? That's one thread, where that's 2 threads around the actual bee itself. And I'm pleased I did, because even the G, you can see how it's thick and thin. It was worth the time. And my friend came over, my cousin, and we were sitting and stitching, and we just had our lunch, and I got a text message from a subscriber that I've got to know who lives in Brisbane, and yes, Anita, she enabled me, and she said that if you're at Barham, the Howard Drapery is has silk ribbon on sale. It must have been on their Facebook site. So I'll just hold that up to the screen. Southeast Queensland, these are the new owners. The store was owned for, I think I heard the lady say 30 years, and the husband and wife team have since passed, and now this young family have bought the business. So they're sort of going through everything and selling out stock and that, and Anita must have spotted that the silk ribbon was on sale, sent me a message. I'm sitting and stitching with my cousin, and she said, let's go. So we did, we went. So, oh boy. So thanks, Anita. We literally hopped in the car within 5 minutes of getting the message, drove over to the shop, and I did a little bit of shopping. So I'll show you that in a moment. But what I'll do now with this is I'm going to leave it for the afternoon sun coming in. I'm going to leave it for now because all of Honey Bear's fabrics are back in Brisbane. So what I'll do is I'll separate them all out when I get back to Brisbane, and we'll collage and stitch some little elements with these sayings and add them to a little dress. So that will be shelved for a moment. And Good one, Anita. I didn't get silk ribbon because you bought it all. I saw your parcel sitting on the counter all bagged up, ready to be shipped to you. And all that was left was a few different shades of blues. And I thought, no, I don't need them. But I spotted all of these crochet cottons and I thought, well, I don't have many up here at Burrum. So I put together a bit of a collection of threads. That was $2.50. It's got a nice texture about it. And I thought, well, that can go into my brown fabric pile. And they had some calico, which I don't have any here. I've only got, you know, little pieces. So I've now got a bit of calico or homespun in the building. And it was like $4 a metre. So I took what was left on the roll. Hey fudge. So that's what happened. Good one, Anita. She sends me a message, alert, alert, ribbons on sale. And this what happens. My goodness. So if you're in southeast Queensland and you're passing the little town of Howard, you must pop into the little drapery shop. It's fantastic. And the new owner, she's lovely. Vicky, she's lovely. She was so friendly and she's putting things on sale and there was new stock arriving. So they're going to be, yeah, very, very active. Anyway, I'm going to stop nattering. I'm going to say goodbye. Look, Fudge's now. Hello, Fudgy. Oh, my goodness. This is what happens when you let your cat make up a residence in the corner of your craft room. He's going to be a regular here, I think. Fudgy bee. All right, guys. Look, you're lying on my cottons, cat. Oh, Fudgy. Talk about taking over the show. All right, guys. I will leave you alone. Have a lovely weekend. And Honey Bear's dress, will get some more work on it next weekend when we get back to Brisbane and settle back in to my existing room. All right, guys. Look after yourselves. Bye.